operators are busy. Please wait patiently or go to lushrunners.org right away.
You asked, and we heard you, America.
Real America's Voice is coming to iHeartMedia.
Yes, Real America's Voice is now breaking through the white noise of the mainstream media.
Just download the iHeart app, and you'll have all of us right at your fingertips.
Welcome to America's Voice Live. Our Real America's Voice team is going places others won't.
We need to take cover of what was incoming into Israeli territory
to show you what they don't want you to see.
It's still a disaster. What's the latest?
They call these street releases. You've got hundreds of people being dropped off. It's getting worse.
We're the nation's fastest growing news program for a reason.
Real journalism.
They're all marching down to the White House.
Sounds to me, Ben, like they won't be happy until Israel doesn't exist.
Real American news.
America is under chemical warfare attack. Fentanyl is the weapon.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
I appreciate you guys very, very much.
This is America's Voice Live with Steve Gruber.
Welcome to America's Voice Live. I'm Steve Gruber. It is Monday, February the 3rd. Let's get to the day's top stories. Thank you for being here as always. The Israeli military destroyed buildings in Jenin, a city in the occupied West Bank. Hamas has now called for an escalation in the resistance. Also, Vice President J.D. Vance in East Palestine, Ohio, for the 2-year anniversary of that tragic train derailment. Ben Bergquam on the ground as well. We'll talk to him in just a moment. And then later, Trump's tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China went into effect in those countries. Well, they had differing responses to the tariffs. They're actually supposed to take place at midnight tonight. All of that and more coming up on America's Voice Live. Let's start with that, though. Donald Trump rolling it out as into his third week, full steam ahead. Democrats become lost in the wilderness, it seems. Trump signing executive orders, pushing through his agenda as fast as possible. He imposed tariffs on imports from Canada, Mexico, and China to address trade imbalances and protect American industries. Those were to take effect at midnight tonight, designed to level the playing field and encourage fair trade practices among key trading partners. And he also said to control the flow of fentanyl and say, look, you need to clean up the borders. Here's part of what he said.
Are you planning to increase the tariffs against Canada?
Well, it could happen. If they do anything, we will. Canada's been very abusive of the United States for many years. They don't allow our banks. Did you know that? Canada does not allow banks to go in. If you think about it, that's pretty amazing. If we have a U.S. bank, they don't allow them to go in. Canada's been very tough on oil, on energy. They don't allow our farm products in, essentially. They don't allow a lot of things in, and we allow everything to come in. It's been a one-way street. We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want. Mexico, we've had very good talks with them. And this is retaliatory. This is retaliatory to a certain extent. Millions of people flowed into our country through Mexico and Canada. And we're not going to allow that.
We're not going to allow that. And then earlier today, Mexico caved, begging the president not to impose those 25% tariffs and agreeing to send, get this, 10,000 troops to the border to help secure the region. President Trump took the latest huge win in stride, much like the tariff win with the nation of Colombia last week. So far, Canada has not made a deal, but I'd not be surprised as they're scrambling north of the border to figure out what to do. Here was just part of Trudeau's response to the new tariffs. Listen to this.
If President Trump wants to usher in a new golden age for the United States, the better path is to partner with Canada, not to punish us.
Well, he's not playing games. Trump's agenda is not just only tariffs and enforcing the border and arresting illegals in this country. It's also about other big-ticket items, like demanding the United States be in control of the Panama Canal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has delivered great news there, where they have announced they will not renew their deal with China and its Belt and Road Initiative. That's over. Another huge win. Listen to this.
Secretary of State Rubio is in Panama right now, and we're talking about the Panama Canal. What they've done is terrible. They violated the agreement. They're not allowed to violate the agreement. China's running the Panama Canal. That was not given to China. That was given to Panama foolishly. But they violated the agreement, and we're going to take it back, or something very powerful is going to happen.
And now we know that Panama has acquiesced as well. Colombia, Mexico, Panama. And if you think the administration was not serious about national security, no matter what countries around the world, and specifically in Europe, have to say about it all, well, you need to pay closer attention and know when President Trump says it, he means it, period. Here's J.D. Vance on Greenland explaining how important it is for our national security there. Listen.
Do you expect the U.S. to acquire Greenland?
I think it's possible, Maria. So here's the thing that I think a lot of folks don't appreciate about Greenland. It's really important to our national security. There are sea lanes there that the Chinese use, that the Russians use, that frankly, Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally. So you have to ask yourself, how are we going to solve that problem, solve our own national security? If that means that we need to take more territorial interest in Greenland, that is what President Trump is going to do, because he doesn't care about what the Europeans scream at us. He cares about putting the interests of America's citizens first. There's another angle to this whole Greenland thing, Maria, that people don't realize. You've got probably 55,000 people living on Greenland who are not actually happy with Danish government. They've got great natural resources there. They've got an incredibly bountiful country that the Danes aren't letting them develop and explore. Of course, Donald Trump would take a different approach if he was the leader of Greenland.
Now, today we have learned that at a minimum, Greenland is going to allow the United States to broadly expand our military presence there. I mean, how many huge wins is that? What a huge year. Or wait, it's still just Monday. Again, Mexico gives into the tariffs. Greenland to allow America to broadly expand its military presence. Panama not renewing its Belt and Road Initiative. Plus, there's a sovereign wealth fund. USAID is getting gutted. I mean, we're just getting rolling here. However, for the other team, not a lot to celebrate, which brings me to the train wreck of the Democratic National Committee gathering to pick a new chair over the weekend in National Harbor, Maryland. If you missed this, well, you need to see it. I can't even begin to explain what a complete embarrassment was. It was a parody event, really. But the joke is on the Democrats, who continue to kick and scream and carry on while relying on the failed tactics of attacking Donald Trump and MAGA supporters, who continue to celebrate his decisive win at his frenetic pace in office. The DNC leadership was gathered. It was like a bad game show. Just watch this part.
And we'll begin with the opening statements. Each candidate will have 30 seconds, and we'll start with Dr. Quintessa Hathaway.
Good evening, everyone. It is my desire to be the next DNC chair, and I just want to give you all a little bit of something that's been on my heart here over the last couple of days. You fight on, you fight on, you fight on, you fight on. When your government is doing you wrong, you fight on, oh, you fight on.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. You fight on, you fight on. A bad game show. It was clear watching the clips coming out of the gathering that those in attendance are oblivious to why they were flattened in November. Flattened. There's no reflection, no discussions of figuring out how to reconnect with blue-collar voters, Hispanic voters, black voters, young voters, or anyone else who rejected their message, which was nearly every demographic, by the way, in support of Donald Trump. And yet, they're stuck in the same old place, singing the same old song. And not just gender, of course, but race, too. It's not all they care about. Identity politics, all the time. Here's more.
Hello, Democrats. Hey, I am speaking, and I would love your attention. There is a black woman at this podium, and I deserve your attention like the 11 people who went before me. Yes, I am speaking.
Good evening, Democrats. Look up here. 3 strong black women standing before you. 3 black women who, rather than just grabbing a chair, ran for chair.
Te quiero mucho, Papa. Gracias por todo. My name is Artie Blanco, Freddie Blanco's daughter. Vote for me for vice chair.
Look at this room, y'all. Truly take it in. This is the Democratic Party. We are our strongest when we stand together.
We are in a time in this country when our democracy and our rights are under attack. We're at a time where black and brown people, women, and other minorities are being blamed for everything that's wrong with this country.
Identity politics, which was rejected across all 7 swing states and all over America. Well, still with the faithful, we're focused on identity politics. The outgoing DNC chair has no idea why his party lost in November. He can't figure it out. Well, watching this, well, it seems to make it perfectly clear, showing unity in political tone deafness. This is unity in political tone deafness. Watch this train wreck.
We're finding out ways to expedite this. Because of our gender balance provisions on this next ballot, you will be able to vote for 2 candidates of any gender on the next ballot. Okay? So on this next ballot, you will be able to vote for 2 candidates of any gender on the next ballot. If 2 candidates receive, I'm going to turn to Helen to clarify this last part.
You are in this next ballot where you have 2 votes. As the chair has said, you may vote for 2 males, 2 females, 2 of any gender, okay? Nope, you can't do that because we've got to balance. You could vote for 1 of any gender, okay? Or no, non-binary gender, excuse me. It is late.
Wait a second. How many genders? It is truly jaw-dropping, my friends. They have no idea how foolish they look, how foolish they sound, and how far out of touch they really are. It's like they like losing and want to do it a whole hell of a lot more. And trust me, with this kind of performance in Maryland, they're just warming up on that losing streak, showing unity in political tone deafness. We have more. Listen to this.
In this round, so I'm going to, I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay. So that's good. You all passed.
All of them. Not inflation, not the border, not sending money to Ukraine, all of them. Now, what's really remarkable is that after all the talk of diversity, equity, inclusion, and all the rest, the Democrats' shoes are filled by the most lily-white 1-2 punch they can find. First, the incredible pasty white Ken Martin from the far-left Democratic Farmer Labor Party of Minnesota. Listen to him.
There are a lot of good billionaires out there that have been with Democrats who share our values, and we will take their money, but we're not taking money from those bad billionaires.
That's right. We only take money from good billionaires, not those bad billionaires. And if you thought that was refreshing, well, look at the new vice chair. None other than a scrawny, little, even pastier white guy that hates guns and hates America. In a show of diversity to the future, the Democrats selected Lily White David Hogg as vice chair, openly admitting they don't care about race, are completely against guns, and obviously have just given up on ever winning again. Here's David Hogg.
Are you ready to go on the offense? Are you ready to go on the offense? We have to win back our young people. I am the only candidate in this race for any of these positions that is under 30. We had a 20-point shift to the right of our young people. We must show our young people we give a damn about them, that we support them, and we invest in them. I have raised over $11 million.
He gives a damn. We don't. You fight on. You fight on. Yes, it's a bright new day for America, at least for those of us that have actually got an idea of what's going to happen out here. The Democrats lost in a blizzard of stupidity, and like I said, must really like losing. Because with this helpless 1-2 punch of white and whiter, left and lefter, and yes, dumb and dumber, their political fortunes do not appear to be on the mend or on the upswing. There are going to be some painful years in the wilderness for a party that has truly lost its bearings and lost its way, no question. And if they thought Joe Biden was a bad idea, I have no idea what they were thinking putting this team together. But then again, What else do they have? For the rest of us, well, it's okay. We have strong leadership in Washington. President Trump delivering every day on his promises, and we're going to be on the road for a while. It might be bumpy for a while. But we're on the road to making America great again, and that feels pretty damn good, doesn't it? It's just Monday. Coming up after the break, the IDF has been blowing up terrorist infrastructure in the West Bank. That's coming up next here on America's Voice Live.
Hey, America. Listen up. Car repairs are seeing record highs. They've seen a nearly 50% increase in recent years due to a shortage of car parts and workers, and that number is still rising. With more drivers choosing to keep their cars longer, that means a lot of out-of-warranty drivers are getting hit with expensive repair bills. If this is you, you're risking paying thousands when your vehicle breaks down. Or you could call CarShield now to help save big on your next covered repair. CarShield offers low month-to-month plans that have helped save drivers thousands on car repairs. These plans help protect your car, truck, or SUV, and up to 5,000 parts and systems. Look at how much these repairs could cost. Just listen to how much these customers saved.
I've been a CarShield customer for more than 2 years. I've filed 4 claims and saved nearly almost $7,000.
I've been a CarShield customer for over 4 years. I've saved over $3,000 covering 2 cars, and I couldn't be happier.
Car repair costs are currently at an all-time high. Don't run the risk of having to pay out of pocket. Call CarShield right now and get their price lock guarantee, where your price never goes up as long as you cover your car.
Saving drivers money on car repairs with CarShield is only the beginning. Plans go the extra mile and include 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance, all at no additional cost to you.
Best of all, you'll get access to CarShield's concierge service, who can even help you find a mechanic near you.
Avoid the skyrocketing costs and call to speak to an expert now. Together, you can find the plan that works for you in just minutes. Don't wait. You have to call before your car breaks down, or it's too late.
CarShield has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau and was voted America's most trusted auto protection company. It's not a matter of if, but when your car will break down. It's time to call CarShield now. Call 800-853-6533. 800-853-6533.
Throughout its history, the mission of Hillsdale College has been to develop the minds and improve the hearts of its students. As a commitment to this mission, every student signs an honor code. A Hillsdale College student is honorable in conduct, honest in word and deed, dutiful in study and service, and respectful of the rights of others. Through education, the student rises to self-government.
Well, the Israeli Defense Forces, the IDF, have been blowing up terrorist infrastructure. They've destroyed more than 24 buildings in Jenin. It's a West Bank city. Video footage from Sunday shows a series of explosions ripping through the area, sending smoke into the air. A statement from the IDF said these 23 buildings were used as terrorist infrastructure. No casualties reported. Hamas stated it will escalate its resistance to Israel and called for an escalation in the resistance against the IDF. While Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be meeting with President Trump Tuesday, terrorist leaders are meeting a delegation in Moscow today. Joining now to discuss this, former Congressman, retired Army Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Colonel, nice to see you today. Looks like the IDF continues its cleanup operation, getting rid of terrorist strong points and operation centers and hideouts, all of that, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's good to be with you, Steve. Without a doubt, you've got to dismantle Hamas as well as Hezbollah. These are threats to Israel, threats to their sovereignty, threats to their people. And this whole thing about the hostage exchange, where Israel is giving back more terrorists to Hamas, which means that they will just regenerate their combat power, if I can put it in military terms. So it's important that you take away the infrastructure, the supporting means by which they can sustain themselves, and isolate them from the civilian population and isolate them from support. The best thing that has happened for Israel, Donald Trump winning, which means there'll be a huge pressure on Iran like it was before when President Trump basically bankrupted Iran. So Hezbollah and Hamas, their days are coming to a very vicious end.
They are, and the IDF is not going to let up until they're done eradicating every terrorist they can find, every terrorist stronghold, every place that they might try to have a base of operations. They're going to eradicate every single piece of the puzzle, aren't they?
Yeah, they have to. That's part of this total war that they are waging against Hamas. And look, once again, Hamas brought this upon themselves with their actions of October the 7th of 2023. And let us not forget that Hamas has in its charter the eradication, elimination, extermination of the Jewish people and the Jewish nation, and not just there in Israel, but worldwide. So this is a terrorist organization. Israel cannot live side by side with a terrorist organization that happens to be the governing authority there in Gaza. And the great thing is that you're not hearing a lot of international support for Hamas right now at this moment.
No, you're not. Meanwhile, Colonel, I'd like to ask you about this. It's Monday. All right, let me go over the list of success on Monday, if I may. Let's see. Mexico has caved in and said, we'll send 10,000 troops to the border. Mr. Trump, please do not impose a 25% tariff. Panama has said, you know what, the Belt and Road Initiative, that's off. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to work with America. Greenland is going to allow a broad expansion of American military presence on Greenland at a minimum. They've targeted the USAID for defunding. And Trump announces a sovereign wealth fund. This is what people would accomplish in a year. This is Monday by about noon. It is unbelievable the amount of work coming out of this place.
It is night and day difference. And remember, we're just talking about 2 weeks having been in office, if you want to include the day of the inauguration, where he signed countless amounts of executive orders. But again, this is what happens when you show strength. This is what happens when you have that moral high ground and you use that moral high ground and you have a leader with focus and resolve. The rest of the world sees that. And it's a return of Ronald Reagan's peace through strength. So we can have Pax Americana. We can provide all of the safety and security necessities for our friends, our allies, and our partners. But we have to do it from that position of strength. And I think that the president of Panama has seen this, president of Mexico, and I'm quite sure the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, will make a phone call later on, and he will see it as well.
Yeah, the lame duck Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre, will soon to be there. But okay, so for the folks that didn't understand the power of tariffs, I can point to Colombia, I can point to Mexico, I can point to Panama, and I think you're right. At some point soon, we will point to Canada. We'll see what China does, but the tariffs on China were much lower at 10%. We'll see how that plays out. But look, anybody who criticized the tariffs didn't understand it was a foreign policy tool, and a very potent one at that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely so. You know, the military teaches you there are 4 elements of a nation's power. It's called the DIME theory: diplomatic, informational, military, and economic. And what you see Donald Trump doing is using the D, the diplomatic, along with the E, the economic, to leverage the power of the United States of America against individuals. And he is changing behavior by way of that. So it is a negotiating tool. It's a tactic that he is using quite well from a strategic perspective. And look at the results, like you said, that we've seen in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, I looked and I want to find out more what the sovereign wealth fund is as they explain it and flesh it out a little bit. We'll see how that plays out. Before we go here today, Colonel, could you go ahead and tell me, you were at a funeral today earlier, and part of the military family. It's always the military family, isn't it? Kind of an important moment for you. Go ahead and tell me about it.
You know, my father served in World War II. He was part of that greatest generation. And today I attended the funeral of Army Air Corps Lieutenant Colonel Harry Kabler. He was a B-25 bomber pilot in the Pacific Theater, 103 years of age. So we have to remember this incredible generation that set America on the path that it is on right now and defeated Nazism, fascism, and Japanese imperialism. So please remember our World War II veterans. We're losing them day by day.
How many are left? I mean, I hadn't thought about this, but there can't be that many left at this point.
No, I don't think so. I was at the 80th Remembrance of D-Day last summer, and you're talking about anywhere from 97 to 102, 103 years of age, the gentleman that we saw over there. So we're getting pretty thin. Frank Buckles, I think it was about 10 years ago. He was our last, maybe a little bit longer, last World War I veteran. We're getting pretty close, and the next generation will be our Korean War veterans.
There you have it. Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, always good to see you, sir. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. God bless, Steve.
Yeah. God bless you, my friend. All right, up after the break. Today marks the 2-year anniversary of the East Palestine train derailment. I'll talk to Ben Berquam. He has been on the ground there for the last day. He has the latest. J.D. Vance was there as well. We'll be right back.
Are you sitting right now? It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, boost circulation, and release endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
Sitting too long isn't just uncomfortable, it's unhealthy. With Ready Rocker, we make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
From soothing babies to helping with posture, back pain, and stress, we discovered that rocking can truly improve lives.
Sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It actually releases endorphins in the brain. It's a mood booster.
I used to be in pain all the time, but with Ready Rocker, I felt relief and I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking.
My back stopped hurting, my arthritis felt better. It's just wonderful.
Now you can join the movement that's changing lives and helping thousands find relief. Call now or go online to get 40% off your purchase. We'll even ship it for free. Plus, you'll get this bonus seat cushion.
Ready Rocker is changing lives one rock at a time.
Now it's your turn to experience the relief for yourself.
Call 800-580-5156 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. That's 800-580-5156 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. Call now.
Did you know you could remodel your kitchen faster and for a lot less than at the big box stores? At Cabinets to Go, customize your dream kitchen with custom quality cabinets, countertops, and more. And enjoy a high-quality, affordable kitchen makeover that is sure to wow. Visit one of our showrooms nationwide and get your dream kitchen today for as low as $149 a month at CabinetsToGo.com.
Vice President J.D. Vance was in East Palestine, Ohio today, marking 2 years since the devastating train derailment that released hazardous chemicals into the community. The incident, February 3rd, 2023, left lasting environmental and public health concerns for local residents. A lot of problems. Joining me now is, who is there to hear Vance's remarks, our Real America's Voice correspondent, Ben Berquam. Joined by Bob Figley, an East Palestine local resident and business owner. Ben, welcome aboard. Bob, good to have you here. Take it away, Ben. Let's hear what it's like there 2 years later.
Well, yeah, we just had now Vice President J.D. Vance here with us this morning. This has been 2 years ongoing, and actually, as we speak, we've got a Norfolk Southern train coming through. They shut the trains down for a couple hour, an hour while J.D. Vance was in town, but they're back running again. And that is ground zero behind us, Steve. Right there is where the entire plume of toxic chemicals went up. That building right there is actually a friend of ours, Edwin Wang's. That entire facility has not been operational for the last 2 years, Ceram Fab. In fact, they still haven't even cleaned it. Now, Bob, you're right here. You've got a business right across the street, right from ground zero, Brushville Supply and Hardware. Talk to us about your experience, J.D. Vance coming today and versus the last 2 years of Joe Biden.
Well, it's been a long struggle, and with J.D. here, I wish I'd have had a chance to talk to him, but he answered some questions that they're going to support us. They're going to be here to not give us lip service, but to give us some actual help to make up for the stuff that we've been through over the last 2 years.
Did you feel, talking to people all across the city, did you feel abandoned by Joe Biden and the previous administration?
We felt abandoned by the whole government, everybody involved, the EPA, the whole bunch of them. Seemed like a big cooperation between them for the benefit of the railroad. And the people here that had to suffer all the consequences got squat.
What are you hoping for now?
I'm hoping to get some resolution to the issue, get some kind of compensation so we can move on with our life. You know, they can't give us our time back. They could give us some kind of a compensation for all the heartache that we had to go through.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's amazing about this, Steve, is, again, this is, one of the locations we've been covering in North Carolina and in Tennessee as well. But you talk about even just the difference of perspective of J.D. Vance coming today, a week after the inauguration. It just shows their priorities, and you heard that from Lee Zeldin, the new head of the EPA. He was here. He said East Palestine is going to be his priority. He said that was his words, his priority, because it's such a priority for President Trump and J.D. Vance. Now, right. Sadly, for a lot of the residents, that's a year too late, 2 years too late. But they're praying that something can happen now, at least.
I'd like to ask Bob one more question, if you would, Ben. What about Governor Mike DeWine? How would you score him on a scale of 1 to 10 through this whole process?
Mr. DeWine, I don't know. He was here. He showed up. There were some benefits to what he did. He offered some help economically for some of the business people. So I would say he was maybe a 7 or 8. Yeah, he's a reasonable guy. Not my. I
got somebody off screen giving me a thumbs down, but yeah. But that's the thing here, Steve, is everybody you ask, the whole community's divided.
He's a politician.
Yeah, I thought that the response from DeWine, as far as the residents there, medium. Yeah, not terrible and better than the federal government, but medium. Ben, Bob, thank you very much for the update. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
There you have it, gentlemen. Well, the IRS is the largest collection agency in the world, and it just stepped up enforcement for 2025. If you owe back taxes or have unfiled returns, do not wait for the IRS to come after you. Simply avoiding your tax troubles is the worst thing you can possibly do. Getting ahead of this is the smart move, but never contact the IRS alone. Turn it over to the team at Tax Network USA. Why? Because not all tax resolution companies are the same. Tax Network USA has a preferred direct line to the IRS. This means that they know which agents to deal with and which ones to avoid. Tax Network USA has proven strategies that are designed to settle your tax problems in your favor. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their attorneys have negotiators, and they've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Talk with one of their strategists. It's free. Stop the threatening letters. Stop looking over your shoulder and put your IRS troubles behind you once and for all. Call 1-800-905-8000. 1-800-905-8000 or visit tnusa.com/RAF. tnusa.com/RAF. Coming up after the break, as I mentioned briefly earlier, the Trump tariffs went into effect in some places, and we'll have it coming up next.
Hello, my friend. Pat Boone here. You know our country's under financial assault like never before. Our government has put us $34 trillion in debt. The interest alone's more than we spend on military defense. And what's worse, other countries no longer believe the U.S. is a safe place to invest. There's a growing international movement to dump U.S. dollars at a record pace. Some economists say this may signal the end of the dollar. Now, these countries are instead buying gold, and I'm suggesting you do the same. My friends at Swiss America have been helping Americans like you and me for over 40 years to buy physical gold and silver for delivery to our homes or held in our IRAs. I've trusted Swiss America for nearly 25 years now, and you can trust them too. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these troubling times.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
In a crisis, your number one need is food. But here's the good news. 4 Patriots is offering a special buy one, get 2 free deal on its best-selling 72-hour survival food kits. Hurry, go to 4patriots.com now.
Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Call now and get this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers. As a bonus, we'll throw in a free annuity rate report. Both books are yours free, just for calling Annuity General today.
As you know, over the weekend, President Donald Trump announcing tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China, 25%, 25%, and 10%, respectively. 10% on energy coming out of Canada, but 25% on everything else. The Mexican government responded by promising 10,000 troops to the border and asking for a pause on the tariffs. Donald Trump agreed for the next 30 days. The tariffs expected to take effect at midnight tonight. Canada's response so far to put a 25% tariff on American imports, including beverages, cosmetics, and paper products worth 30 billion Canadian dollars. Like I said, Mexico is sending 10,000 troops to the border to get a pause. China also responding by saying they will challenge Trump's tariffs at the World Health Organization. But didn't we leave that? Joining me now to discuss is the Heritage Foundation's director of the Grover Herman Center for the Federal Budget, Richard Stern. Richard, thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Let's start with this. The tariffs, which have been widely and loudly criticized on the left, have so far been pretty effective. The nation of Colombia and the nation of Mexico have said, you know what, we don't want the tariffs, we'll play ball. We don't know what China's going to do, but their tariffs were much lower at 10%. Canada, with a seriously lame duck Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, trying to play tough. I don't think it lasts, Richard. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I think Canada is going to have to bow to this pressure as well. What are you seeing?
Oh, I think you've hit the nail exactly on the head, which is this is not about a trade issue or an economic issue. This is a geopolitical issue, plain and simple. We have drugs flying across the border. We have terrorists coming across the border. We had countries that didn't want to take back their illegal aliens that came here, and Trump is using tariffs, not the violence, to be able to get geopolitical wins for the American people and for our allies. And you're seeing that with Mexico, like you point out, with Colombia. But I'll give you one other thing about Canada here. For all we know, part of what he's doing here is trying to force the Canadian government to get rid of Trudeau. They have not called elections, leaving a hung parliament and a lame duck prime minister. Maybe this will get them to put together a real government now. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Pierre Poilievre is not too far away from being the Prime Minister of Canada. It's just about over. And so I see Chuck Schumer go out there in one of the more embarrassing moments and the Democrats have plenty of embarrassing moments over the last 48 hours. But he goes out there and holds up a Corona and say, you know, your Super Bowl Sunday beer is going to be more expensive and your avocados are going to be more expensive. And then Mexico says, hey, no, we don't want anything to do with that. What do you need, Mr. President? In fact, I would say Sheinbaum, the president of Mexico, basically begged Donald Trump, please do not put 25% tariffs on Mexico. I mean, it is a powerful bit of leverage. It is foreign relations at a master level because Donald Trump is getting everything he wants to put America first, to make America strong, and to deliver on the promises he made on the campaign trail. I think he's getting it all, Richard.
He absolutely is. But, you know, let's dig into this a little bit further. Chuck Schumer, a lot of these politicians who are crowing about this have been there for decades, letting the drugs come, letting the illegals come, letting more than 100 known terrorists off the watch list come while Biden was president. They didn't care. They don't care that 100,000 Americans a year are dying from fentanyl. And you know what's even more about this? These are politicians who were supportive of Obama, back to Clinton and everybody else, using drone strikes and the U.S. military to kill civilians overseas to get what they consider to be geopolitical victories for countries other than the United States. So the minute you have a president who's found a peaceful way of using leverage to get geopolitical wins for Americans, now all of a sudden they have a problem. I don't know why we take their advice.
Right. I don't personally, but let's talk about the Mexican government putting 10,000 troops on the border. Look, the Mexican military is about as corrupt as any other part of the Mexican government, which is extreme. Corruption in the Mexican government is rampant. Everybody knows it. Will it mean anything? Or will these army units, will these military people be bought and paid for by the cartels? That's my next question. Will this mean anything? It's a nice first step. It looks great. It stops the terrorists for 30 days, at least for now. But does it mean anything?
Well, it's hard to say. So I think this is a down payment. Obviously, Mexico, I think, needs to do an enormous amount more to keep up their end of the bargain here. But while I certainly agree with you that there's a lot of corruption in the entire legal system, including the military, including how the current president of Mexico got there, part of it is where those resources are deployed. So if they're deployed in a way where the American military, American Border Patrol have control of the situation, know what they're seeing, don't allow them to be able to do anything nefarious, then they can certainly be helpful. Frankly, it might even be helpful just as a way of rooting out exactly who our friends are and who our friends are really not, who's already bought and paid for by the cartel. But my suspicion is the announcement's 10,000 troops. Under the hood, there's probably a lot more things that's being agreed to right now that are solidly positive for our country and for helping our border security.
Yeah. Richard, we'll have to keep a close eye on it because right now it seems that Donald Trump has the cards and America's banked up because it's not just that, it's Panama saying we will not renew the Belt and Road Initiative with China. It's Greenland saying, hey, you want to expand military presence of the United States military in Greenland? Open door. What do you want to do? Let's get it done. I mean, he's winning everywhere globally. And those crowing in Europe, I'd be careful because he'll throw tariffs at the European Union as well to get what he needs, won't he?
Absolutely. It's nice for once to have a U.S. president who's concerned with America's foreign policy. We're so used to presidents who have plans for peace in the Middle East and things across the world and in the third world. This is what it looks like to have a president who cares about our Arctic Circle, about the canal, that 3/4 of the traffic that goes through which goes between U.S. ports, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is what it looks like to have a president that puts American foreign policy first.
Isn't that nice? Richard Stern from the Heritage Foundation, sir, thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, sir. Have you seen the news from economists forecasting a depression? Not recession, depression by the year 2030. We're in a perfect storm as Social Security and Medicare hit a breaking point with the largest generation hitting retirement. A smaller workforce means a smaller tax base. Pair that with our growing national debt and rising cost of living, we have a big problem. So what are you going to do about it? Protect your family for the future? Gold is a safe haven in hard economic times, and Birch Gold makes it easy to diversify a portion of your savings into physical gold. By the way, an ounce of gold all-time high today, $28.17. Yeah, Birch Gold will help you transition existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold, and it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. Protect your future today. Text America to 989898. Get your free information kit on gold and a copy of the ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era. It's got a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. There is no obligation, none, just information for you to learn. Birch Gold has earned the trust of countless Americans looking to safeguard their savings. You can count on them too. Text America to the number 989898. Do that today and find out if gold is the right place for you. Don't go anywhere. America's Voice Live will continue in a moment.
If your car's out of warranty, your next breakdown could cost thousands, unless you have Endurance.
They covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
Just 2 claims saved us over $1,700.
I've had 5 claims, and that is $3,500 that I've kept in my pocket.
So, who's going to pay for your next car repair? You or Endurance?
Call right now to get $300 off any plan.
Call 1-800-208-0025 now.
This is our last chance to help save thousands of Holocaust survivors who are suffering in the former Soviet Union today. The needs that these forgotten Jews have are something beyond anything you can imagine.
Have you eaten this morning?
I ate the carrot, so I ate half of it yesterday, and I had it today for breakfast. and this is what she ate in 2 days, 1 carrot. Please pray for me.
The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews began this ministry to help elderly Jews living in horrible poverty around the world. We urgently need your gift of $25 now to help provide one survival food box with all of the foods they critically need for their diet for 1 month.
I am very proud to partner and align with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. This trusted ministry is giving Christians like me a way to bless elderly Jewish people who live in extreme poverty around the world.
I believe in God, but I sometimes feel maybe He forgot me. Perhaps you could tell my story, and I would find a matching soul that would understand. I face hunger again.
Please don't delay. Call, scan, or go online now to help rush one survival food box to a Holocaust survivor who is suffering and in desperate need.
This is what God wants from us. Just feed the hungry.
If you hear God's voice, I'm asking you to act now. Do it when it's on your heart. I pray that they'll know in their final months that they're not alone.
Elon Musk, that is, and Doge, the Department of Government Efficiency, cleaning house in the U.S. Agency for International Development, and they moved to seize control of the independent agency over the weekend. At least the agency thought they were independent. President Trump spoke on the agency last night. Here's what he said.
What's going on there? Well, it's been run by a bunch of radical lunatics, and we're getting them out. USAID, run by radical lunatics, and we're getting them out, and then we'll make a decision.
Joining me now to discuss this is the Conservative Caucus President Jim Pfaff. Jim, nice to see you back here. Listen, Marco Rubio just spoke on this a few minutes ago that I heard as well. He says USAID thinks that they're independent and have to answer to no one. He says that's over. Of course they have to answer to someone. They don't get to spend American taxpayer dollars however the hell they want. It's not going to continue. Boy, it's a new day in Washington, isn't it?
I've been laughing for days now as I hear these radical leftist Democrats going around saying, this billionaire Elon Musk, he's unelected and accountable to no one. And I'm sitting back saying, as I believe I am with the rest of the American people, what about all the unaccountable bureaucrats like the ones you just pointed out at USAID who are not interested in the least with any accountability? You've got billionaire Elon Musk, accountable to the President of the United States, by the way, who's looking to cut government spending, but you've got unelected bureaucrats who are willing to spend anything. And in fact, you know, anyone that saw Scott McAdams quoted by Elon Musk on X today knows that there was a Treasury Department official who was just shoving this money right out the door. No accountability, no audits, nothing. And when asked to account for the work he had done, he immediately quit and left the Treasury Department.
He resigned. He walked out. Resigned. He wasn't going to turn his books over to anybody. Look, the U.S. Agency for International Development, it's not aid to starving people. It's not about putting in water wells. It's not building schools. This is money that is used for international development of anything that these people want to develop. Could be infrastructure for war. Could be infrastructure for militaries, navies, anything. And they haven't turned down a payment, I believe, in 22 years. 22 years they haven't turned down a payment. I mean, how could that even possibly be allowed to continue year after year?
Well, there were USAID employees apparently hanging around the Palestinians right in the October 8th Gaza raid on Israel. This is such a corrupt organization. By the way, check this out. Caroline Leavitt just came out the Trump administration spokesman, and she said $2.5 million was spent to promote DEI in Serbia, $70,000 for DEI music in Ireland, $47,000 for transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for trans comic book in Peru. But that's just the surface. There's money laundering happening in this organization. Frankly, Democrats and some Republicans, sadly, believe that our money is their money. You know, I'm sitting right here in the Washington, D.C. area with 6 of the top 10 wealthiest counties in the country. There's nothing like commerce that takes place around here, except for the restaurants that serve food to these people. Like this is such an absurd notion that we need this federal government. We really need almost none of it, and most of it is unconstitutional spending anyway.
Jim,
so
here's what
this
I'm
is
confused
a fantastic.
About. Yeah, here's what I'm confused about on top of all of that, and that's pretty confusing. Nobody knows what their budget is. If you Google this or use Grok or whatever your source might be, I've got anywhere from $28 billion annually to over $50 billion annually. I can't even get a straight answer of how much money they're squandering. That, to me, is also jaw-dropping.
Well, and let's not forget, unrelated to the stuff that's come out from Doge yet, is all of this high-speed internet that the Biden administration, $50 billion, I think it was, that was supposed to put new high-speed internet when, A, we don't need it because we've got Starlink, so why spend all the infrastructure money? But B, it never built even a mile of this capability. So federal government is the most corrupt thing in human history, not just American history. We're seeing just the very scratchings of the surface with what Doge is doing. And here we finally have a president who says we're going to tear it all down. We're going to get rid of this corruption. He's empowered not just Elon Musk, but others in his administration to take down these massive problems. It should give every American hope that we might be done with this long national nightmare of government that both Republican and Democrat presidents have been behind. And it would be great for the American people if he could actually accomplish this.
Yeah. By the way, USAID, Marco Rubio says he's taken temporary control of that entire operation. Marco Rubio turning out to be a very effective Secretary of State and an important piece of this Trump transition and overhaul of the American government. Jim, thank you for being here. A lot more good news in the future, I believe, and we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Steve. Glad to be with you.
Now, after the break, we'll have a story that reminds us of how wonderful America is, plus your answers to the America's Voice question of the day. As part of Doge, do you think we should shut down the United States Agency for International Development? What a timely question. I'll be right back.
America has the greatest economy in the world, but I think most of us would agree we have a problem. The cost of almost everything is up. Home prices, rent, food, insurance. Every sector has taken a hit, including automotive. More Americans are keeping their cars for longer, including me. And one way that we can make life more affordable is CarShield, America's #1 auto protection company.
CarShield's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and named America's most trusted auto protection company.
With CarShield, drivers could save thousands on covered parts and systems like your engine, transmission, entertainment system, and more. It's the protection that I trust, just like these other happy customers.
With CarShield, saving the $2,700 has been a real blessing. I love CarShield. It is my lifeline.
Our life as nurses, we just step up and we help people, and it's really nice when somebody steps up and helped us. If our car breaks down, CarShield administrators have our back.
If your car's out of warranty, it's not a matter of if it'll break down, but when. Call CarShield before it's too late and protect yourself from expensive car repairs.
CarShield is ready to help year-round nationwide with thousands of vetted shops to choose from, or their concierge service to help you find a mechanic near you. Unlike other companies, they don't just send you to the cheapest place in town. I trust CarShield, and so should you.
I have filed a total of over 5 claims, and my price from when I signed up never went up. And with the age of my car, that is security.
CarShield is a U.S. company supporting hardworking Americans save over $1 billion in expensive auto repair costs. More of us are keeping our cars for longer, so give CarShield a call now before a breakdown happens. Call now.
Call CarShield now before a breakdown and see how they're saving drivers money on covered auto repairs. Call 800-635-5126. 800-635-5126.
What if you could tackle your dog's itching, soft stools, and low energy? Millions of pet parents are raving about Dr. Marty Nature's Blend.
Such a huge difference in her health. More energy, more playful, no more pooping issues.
I'm Dr. Marty. I've been a veterinarian for more than 50 years. The dangerous ingredients added to many pet foods could be impacting your dog's lifespan. That's why I formulated Nature's Blend.
Now you can feed your dog wholesome cuts of real meat, vegetables, and fruit with no artificial preservatives or fillers. Try Dr. Marty risk-free. Go to drmartypets.com/TV.
Well, the question is, what makes America wonderful? We do it every day because we want to put a smile on your face and remind you just how great this country is. Yeah. This story comes out of a grocery store in Jefferson Park, Chicago. Lynn Shockey, a senior, publicly shared her gratitude after someone stepped in to pay for her groceries when her benefits card failed. The incident happened as Shockey's grocery total came to $200, leaving her scrambling to cover the cost with the cash she had on hand from Christmas. She began removing items from her cart when the man behind her said, "Hey, just wait a second." He had a boy around 10, a little girl, and offered to pay the entire balance. After this happened, Shockey said she hoped to eventually thank the man and said he made her whole year. Shockey is also paying that kindness forward by cooking soup for her neighbors in her senior housing building. I mean, that's good news. What makes America wonderful? Kindness we show to our fellow Americans, men and women, always trying to help someone in need. It's kind of who we are. It's kind of who we've always been. As part of DOGE, do you think, this is your question today, as part of DOGE, do you think we should shut down the United States Agency for International Development? I can only imagine. Helen Evans, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Coda Tate, we need to focus on our own country instead of sticking our neck in everyone else. Sam Folds III, we need to tear our government back down to the bare bones as the framers intended. Of course, shut it down. John Tedder writes this, yes, shut it down. I think there's a theme here. People are sick of blowing good money after bad. Yes, let's do some development over here before we export at my expense. Sean Forward 13, he's pretty concise. Absolutely. Boom. And Catherine Blackhawk shares this. Yes, shut it down. Why should we fund their needs when we can't take care of our own? What a question. Al Sharp has this. You betcha. We need to cut. Should be in capital letters. Beverly Grease. Yes, most definitely. No need to support other countries. Take care of our own. C. Blair 75 Oldham. Yes, let's do some development over here before we export at my expense. Pretty good idea, don't you think? We should look after ourselves. It's not really that novel of an idea. Coming up next here, we've got special report on Real America's Voice. And don't forget tomorrow morning to start your day, the broadcast day here in Real America's Voice. I'll be there for you at 6 a.m. I kick it off every day. You bring some hot coffee, I'll bring some hot conversation. We'll get together here on Rav and talk about it Monday through Friday. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon for America's Voice Live. Until then, have a great afternoon, everyone.
If anyone has told you that gaining weight, feeling tired, and struggling with nagging digestive and joint issues is just a part of getting older, they are wrong. My name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and after years of struggling with these same issues, I found a new way to support my health at home by making one simple change to my diet. It's called BioComplete 3. BioComplete 3 works by restoring your gut health from the inside out. This is a major part of how I lost 70 pounds and have kept the weight off for 25 years. It's not just me. This is working for everybody. Joe helped his gut health, and you can see the changes, not just how he looks on the outside, but how much better he felt on the inside.
I was 270. I'm now 140. It just feels amazing. Thank you, Dr. Gundry.
I helped all these people achieve incredible changes to their weight, their digestion, even their skin. And for a limited time, you can try BioComplete 3 risk-free for 90 days. Go to guthealthsecret.com.
Are you having trouble hearing your TV or listening to conversations in loud spaces? Then it might be time to consider Nano hearing aids. Nanos are FDA-registered OTC hearing aids. Don't be fooled by overpriced hearing aids. Prescription hearing aids could cost $3,000 or more. Nano hearing aids are now offering $100 off through this special TV offer. Call now and get 2 CIC rechargeable hearing aids for only $297. And if you're not happy, return them for a full refund.
You asked, and we heard you, America.
Real America's Voice is coming to iHeartMedia.
Yes, Real America's Voice is now breaking through the white noise of the mainstream media.
Just download the iHeart app, and you'll have all of us right at your fingertips.
Scan the QR code and start streaming RAV anywhere you want.
Real America's Voice, available whenever you need us.
It's never been easier to stay connected with the voices you trust.
RAV on iHeart means you can take us with you wherever you go.
This is huge. The truth on iHeart. Ready whenever you are. From Charlie Kirk to Steve Bannon, Jack Posobiec to Grant Stinchfield, you'll find all your favorite RAV hosts in one place.
You can listen on Spotify, Apple, Pandora, or Amazon. RAV is now available everywhere you get your podcasts. All you need to do is scan the QR code right now.
Download the iHeart app today and get ready for Real America's Voice.
Scan the QR code and join the RAV movement.
Breaking news from Real America's Voice.
Welcome into Special Report. We want to take you right out to the White House where the Stanley Cup is right now. President Trump set to address the crowd and, of course, congratulate the Florida Panthers. Let's get you out there right now.
Where are your sons?
Raise your hand.
Where are they? Nice job. And head coach Paul Maurice, really fantastic. That's a nice ring. That's a good coach too. General Manager Bill Zito. Bill. And President and CEO Matthew Caldwell. We're also pleased to be joined by NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. Where's Gary? Gary, come here, Gary. He's done a great job. I knew him a long while, right? When he was in another league. But this has been incredible, the job you've done. Thank you very much. Senators Rick Scott and Ashley Moody. Rick, Ashley. Congratulations to Ashley. And Representatives Byron Donalds. Byron, thank you very much. Gus Bilirakis. Thank you very much, Gus. Michael Haridopoulos. Michael. Good job, Michael. Anna Paulina Luna. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Congratulations. Jared Moskowitz. Jared, very good. And Maria Salazar. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. And we have a couple of others. I'm going to get myself in big trouble because I don't know where you are. I know you're here someplace, but we got to get on to ice hockey. The Panthers 2023 and 2024 season was one for the history books. It was really an exciting one. Everybody was watching it. You secured the Atlantic Division title for the third time, and after coming up just short of the Stanley Cup the year prior, you gave the fans one of the most riveting comebacks in NHL history, in any sport history. I don't know anything about a comeback, but they tell me it's very exciting. I never viewed mine as a comeback. I never said, this was not a comeback. Team captain Alexander Sasha Barkov was crowned the league's best defensive forward after winning his second Selke trophy, and that was a great honor. It's a big deal to do that. Where is he? Where is he? Come here. Come here. You are fantastic. So we lost him. And when facing off against your cross-state rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Matthew Tkachuk's firepower was unmatched, contributing 2 goals and 2 assists, and he led the way to a glorious 9-2 victory. 9-2 victory. 9-2 victory in one game? How many times have people done that? How the hell did they take you 9-2 victory and then you go to 7 games? How did that happen? You were surprised too, huh? Setting a franchise record with the Panthers' 11th consecutive win on the road. And then Anton Lundell also had a memorable season, racking up 35 points, with 13 goals and 22 assists. He won 55% of his faceoffs, setting an all-time career high while just 22 years old. And congratulations to Anton. Where is he? Good-looking young guy. That's great, Anton. Don't worry, you'll get beat up in life a little bit. Your team's many successes were the result of incredible performances across the board, and I'm sure you agree that your coach deserves a lot of credit. He's a great coach. Nobody knows hockey like Paul. He's the league's second all-time leader in games coached and holds the record for the most wins in Florida's Panthers history, and I assume he's going to be around for a long time, right? He's not going anywhere. Coach, I want to be your agent, Coach. Under Paul's leadership, the Panthers have become a finely tuned machine with a rock-solid defensive and offensive. Your offense is great, your defense is great, the whole thing. It's very tough to beat. And I will tell you, I looked at your current record. You're doing pretty well, right? You're nicely positioned. Yeah, you know the expression, he's nicely positioned. I love all these ties. This is so cute, these people. Look at them. I walked in, I said, I think they like Trump. I like them. And you aren't just great protectors of the net. You're also known as the biggest brawlers on ice. Wow. I was with a man named Wayne Gretzky the other day. Do you know Wayne Gretzky? Did you ever hear of Wayne Gretzky? The great one? And he was telling me about a gentleman that protected him named Marty McSorley. Do you know that? You ever hear of him? I don't know if he was a good hockey player, but they say he was very tough. And Wayne was saying he was great as far as he was concerned. He had tough cookies. All of the team's hard work led up to big showdowns last June where you defeated the Edmonton Oilers in an unforgettable, and it was, 7-game series. The Panthers, as I said, started strong with a 3-0 lead. It was over. It was over. In fact, I didn't watch the next 2 games because I said, this is not going to be too exciting. And then I said, uh-oh. This is not good. Then I really said, uh-oh, right? He went to a game 7, but the Oilers made impressive recoveries and really amazing, actually, the way they played, too. They evened the score and forced a decisive game 7. The series was a battle from start to finish. It made it actually much more interesting. Goalie Sergei Bobrovsky, and he was incredible. Oh, I got to see him. Where is he? How good is he? You were, I mean, Hall of Fame? And even, how old are you?
36.
Boy, I tell you, you were unbelievable. What an amazing job you did. And there was a lot of pressure, and I mean it. That game 7, you guys had to be like, man, and you played great. That was great job you did. On behalf of everybody that watched, thank you, Bob. It was nothing short of phenomenal during the finals. In the first 40 minutes of Game 1, Bob made an astounding 25 saves. He's the first goalie to get a shutout in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup in 13 years, and his 23 saves in Game 7 were absolutely crucial to securing a very, very tight victory. And Bob started his career as an undrafted free agent and is now a Stanley Cup champion and will go down as one of the great goalkeepers in all-time history. It's really, really a big honor for you, especially what you were undrafted, so he made a good deal, in other words. Huh? It's the best thing. You'd like to find more like that, huh? So it's what a great achievement, Bob. Congratulations. But the title couldn't have been won if you didn't have a man named Carter Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe. Where's Carter? me pronounce that name because I heard it so many times during the service. I said air is right. I heard that name so much. Verhaeghe is scoring champion, and he's the scoring, and really the opening goal of that game was very important, wasn't it? That put you in a position where got you the butterflies out a little bit. Way to go. Congratulations. That's a great job. Everybody. Carter skillfully directed a shot past the Oilers goalie and gave the Panthers your first lead in the series since Game 3. And not to forget Sam Reinhart, who had a legendary shot in Game 7. That certainly was a legendary shot, one that's not going to be forgotten. After securing the puck from Carter, Sam carried it down the ice and flicked a wrist shot, very much like I would do it if I played. Right past the Oilers goalie, beating him and beat him on the glove side. Where are you? How did you feel after that shot? Like the greatest feeling or one of the greatest in life? You could say it.
25 minutes to play, so
You had a long time left. It's true. It's true. You had a little bit to go. Sam cemented himself as in Panthers history for shooting the team's first ever Stanley Cup winning goal. That was a winning goal. Both teams showed tremendous willpower and athletic talent, unbelievable talent. But in the end, the Panthers stood the ground and did what you have to do as a champion. You can't be a champion unless you could go through something like that. And I can tell you, it was hell for them, that seventh game. Going to the seventh game had to be hell because you're either going to win and really be praised because you came from such a horrible position to being life-threatening. Right? I mean, that would have been just unbelievable. We've seen them. We've seen it happen. Happens a lot, actually. But you didn't let it happen to you. It's an incredible achievement. And I just want to tell you, you fought for every last point, and it was just something I watched, Mr. Commissioner. I was watching that sucker for maybe the wrong reasons because of that guy. And I was hooked, too, because you fell in love with that team, the guts and the courage they had. You really started to really like them. They're great people, and now I see them. And, in fact, I like them so much, I said, we'll get rid of the fake news media very soon, and we're going to go to the Oval Office, and we're going to take some pictures in the Oval Office. Normally, we don't do that, but we're going to do it for this team and for you. And we'll take, unless you don't want to go, you can go home a little bit early. So today we honor the three and these just really great athletes. These are amazing athletes, an amazing team, and their outstanding achievements, their wonderful owner. From underdogs to champions, they prove the dedication and hard work can transform dreams into reality. So congratulations once again to the Florida Panthers on just an unbelievable season and a really an unbelievable run because you've been doing so well and now you continue to do well. We'll try and get to one of those games. You know, it's a little tough as president, but I think we can work it out. We'll need a lot of Secret Service. They'll be happy. Well, we're gonna get to do it. You've made your state and your fans very, very proud. And now I'd like to introduce my friend Vinny Viola, who's a real champion himself. He's a champion at everything he's ever done, loves the military. First thing he did, I see him, he said, you got to do this with the Army. You got to move them here. You got to move them. He's giving me all the instructions. You love the military. I would have liked him, we should have had you in Afghanistan instead of the characters we had. Would have turned out a little bit different, huh? Come here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great, Vinny. Please.
First, Mr. President, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
So whatever it is you're working so hard at, it's agreeing with you, and I like to see that, and thank you. So we brought a cohort, to use a term we use in the military, of champions to visit a champion. And your kindness and the hospitality displayed by your staff is a simple reflection of the excellence that you demand of your people, and we were the beneficiaries of it today. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this short because I really don't enjoy this. Just a couple of points. South Florida, Florida more broadly, has just been fantastic to us, Mr. President. We have with us two very special people. They know our team in and out. I have to recognize them. Mark Bogan and Monica Shapiro from Broward County. They're just two superstars. And it's hard, it's hard to start, really, Gary. When we took the team, it was a little tough. And we really needed the help of the community and the political class and, quite frankly, the private leadership. I could thank every member of the Panthers staff. They were all here, the team. I'm going to bring up a guy that you would really like. He's just a tough, talented. His spirit just went right into the team. He's helped define it. His dad was a great player, Keith Kachuk. I don't know if you remember him. Yeah, he was a big, strong guy. He's like his dad. Before I do, I want to say one thing because my brain runs all over the place. Jared Moskowitz, your dad, when I bought this team, spent countless hours with me, driving me all over Fort Lauderdale. Meeting with, right, Monica? He was a great guy. I want you to know he was a great guy, and I want you to know you carry him in your heart every day. And he'd be so proud of you and the public service. Now, Mr. President, I'm going to ask Matthew Kachuk come up. We got a few things for you. I really hope you like them, especially is it up there? We framed, you're the only, listen, we had to go 45 and 47, right? And so I thought you'd like that. But instead of a Ranger tab, because we designed this like the Ranger Battalion, your tab says POTUS. See above the Florida? See that, Rick? That's pretty cool, right? All right, Matthew, come on up here. You're going to talk to the president about your team.
Your father was correct. Is this still around? Yeah.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. President, for having us today. We greatly appreciate it, and being one of the few Americans, who loves this country so much. This is such an incredible day for myself, and you wake up every day and really grateful to be an American. So thank you. But yeah, this team and this group of guys is super special, and everybody sees what we do on the ice. But I've built bonds with these guys that'll, I'll have for the rest of my life, and I'm forever grateful for these guys. We're forever champs, and I'll always remember these guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, with that said, we've got a few gifts for you. Mark, you want to give me a hand?
Wow. Ooh. This is a trick. It's really.
And you're taking a live look in there at President Donald Trump greeting the world champion Florida Panthers, who won the Stanley Cup last year. You're seeing the Lord Stanley Cup hoisted there, and the president taking a look at that. It's often that a president will greet championship teams from their past season, and this is no different. It doesn't seem that anyone boycotted this particular visit, which is kind of nice as well. But Emily, something that I took away from this, and I got to admit I'm a sports fan and I'm a hockey fan, is he referenced the fact that the Florida Panthers 2 seasons ago played the Tampa Bay Lightning, and they lost. And it's very hard as you know, as a football fan, to go back-to-back and come back from that loss and be in either the Super Bowl, the World Series, or the Stanley Cup again. But what he references, they came back and they won in 7 games. Yeah. And so I think in some ways President Trump actually relates to the Florida Panthers for being kind of the comeback kids.
Absolutely. You know what, Beau? I think he may be a better golfer than he is hockey player, but President Trump certainly understands a comeback. I thought it was very cool that the team made him that custom jersey, as we just saw on the screen, that had 45 and 47 on the back. Not just one number for this guy. He did make a comeback to become the 47th president of the United States as well. We know that the team will be following him over to the Oval Office to take some photos. Really was a heartfelt moment there, Beau.
Yeah, and Michelle, I want to bring you into this too. You know, a lot of athletes have special relationships with Donald Trump. There's so many of them, and he referenced Wayne Gretzky, he's often called the Great One. And he referenced him, who is a Canadian guy. We know that there's tariff situations happening right now with the U.S. and Canada. Doesn't seem to be affecting that room at the moment. But I think it's also just worth saying that this president has so many special relationships with professional athletes, UFC boxers, football players, baseball players, you name it. He's got that kind of rapport.
Well, he's a man of the people, Beau, and even just listening to him speak, you could tell he was so impressed with their record. You could tell that he was just very appreciative of everything they've done over the past year, was genuine with them. As we've seen in the past, we've been used to this for the past 4 years. The president's just writing off people. This is, again, one of the biggest accomplishments to be able to go to the White House and celebrate this. It's also funny because you and I were looking it up during the break. How many of the Florida Panther players are from Canada, given what's happening right now?
It's like half of them, to be honest with you. A lot of the professional National Hockey League are Canadians. And that's why I think it's so interesting. And Michelle, it's interesting. Someone sent me a post today about how a lot of Canadians are considering selling their homes in South Florida due to the Canadian dollar tanking. And this really is making political news because of what's happening with these tariffs. And as we know, Michelle, he has paused his tariff with Mexico for a month because it seems that president is willing to work with him. I'm not so sure Justin Trudeau wants to work with him.
It doesn't really sound like it there, Beau. Well, Justin Trudeau is stepping down anyway. Someone else is going to be replacing him. So there is a lot of developments, especially when it comes to foreign trade happening as the moments pass on here.
And I'll tell you what, a lot of Canadians very excited for Trudeau to step down. But it's interesting. I'm not sure if you guys have seen the viral video over the weekend of the American national anthem playing at a hockey game and Canadians booing. And, it's funny because as Americans, I hate to be that person. I don't really care. And a lot of Canadians came to America. I have a lot of Canadian friends here in South Florida. They're here because the policies in Canada are horrible. It's socialist. I mean, just think about the taxes in general. I mean, how could you ever start a business in Canada? I always ask my friends that.
Right. And, I will admit the game of hockey did start in Canada, but it became successful really in the United States. And as someone who sung for the Florida Panthers and a number of teams, the anthem, I got to tell you, I feel a lot of pride when I sing that. When Canadian teams visit, you have to sing "O Canada" as well. It's a nice song. It's wonderful. Got a lot of Canadian friends, but nothing will give you the pride of singing the American anthem like we do it here. And I think that was referenced in alternate captain Matthew Tkachuk saying as an American player that it made him proud to actually stand there today. So it's kind of nice, ladies, to see a professional sports team not be embarrassed to be there, to actually be part of a championship team and a championship president.
Well, you and I were saying flashback of 4 years ago when a lot of players decided not to come to the White House when Trump was in office. Do you remember that?
That's exactly right.
It is a new era, ladies and gentlemen. Stick with us, speaking of that new era, because we're going through some of the big changes Trump made over the weekend and how Mexico backed down.
America has the greatest economy in the world, but I think most of us would agree we have a problem. The cost of almost everything is up. Home prices, rent, food, insurance. Every sector has taken a hit, including automotive. More Americans are keeping their cars for longer, including me. And one way that we can make life more affordable is CarShield, America's #1 auto protection company.
CarShield's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau and named America's most trusted auto protection company.
With CarShield, drivers could save thousands on covered parts and systems like your engine, transmission, entertainment system, and more. It's the protection that I trust, just like these other happy customers.
With CarShield, saving the $2,700 has been a real blessing. I love CarShield. It is my lifeline.
Our life as nurses, we just step up and we help people, and it's really nice when somebody steps up and helped us. If our car breaks down, CarShield administrators have our back.
If your car's out of warranty, it's not a matter of if it'll break down, but when. Call CarShield before it's too late and protect yourself from expensive car repairs.
CarShield is ready to help year-round nationwide with thousands of vetted shops to choose from, or their concierge service to help you find a mechanic near you. Unlike other companies, they don't just send you to the cheapest place in town. I trust CarShield, and so should you.
I have filed a total of over 5 claims, and my price from when I signed up never went up. And with the age of my car, that is security.
CarShield is a U.S. company supporting hardworking Americans save over $1 billion in expensive auto repair costs. More of us are keeping our cars for longer, so give CarShield a call now before a breakdown happens. Call now.
Call CarShield now before a breakdown and see how they're saving drivers money on covered auto repairs. Call 800-635-5126. 800-635-5126.
Welcome back to Special Report. Over the weekend, President Trump announced 25% tariffs on Mexico and Canada and 10% tariffs on China.
We subsidize Canada by the tune of about $200 billion a year. And for what? What do we get out of it? We don't get anything out of it. I love the people of Canada. I disagree with the leadership of Canada. And something's going to happen there. But if they want to play the game, I don't mind. We can play the game all they want.
Now, in response, China is preparing trade talks with Trump. Newly confirmed Secretary of Interior Doug Burgum has reinforced the notion that these tariffs are not about a trade war, but about the fentanyl pouring into the country.
Well, certainly it's an incentive for Americans to say, let's get going on producing energy here. But you saw the lower tariff on Canadian energy. I mean, this reflects President Trump thoughtfully considering the impacts on American, but still putting pressure on those related to the border. I mean, this isn't a trade war with Canada or Mexico or China. This is about fentanyl. I mean, we've had mass invasion of our country, and we've been taking mass casualties. We lose almost 300 people a day to overdose deaths in this country. That's a tragedy. President Trump wants it to end, and that's what these tariffs began with. That is about securing our border for both illegal entry, but also because of the drugs that are killing our Americans.
And breaking just today, Mexico agrees to work with the United States, ultimately surrendering to the Trump and tariff threats. And the president said, quote, "I just spoke with President Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico. It was a very friendly conversation wherein she agreed to immediately supply 10,000 Mexican soldiers on the border separating Mexico and the United States. These soldiers will be specifically designated to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal migrants into our country. We further agreed to immediately pause the anticipated tariffs for a 1-month period." And this comes as ICE protests erupted in Los Angeles, Atlanta, and other Democratic cities over the weekend, shutting down major interstates while flying foreign flags. And for more on all this, let's welcome in Vice President of the National Border Patrol Council, Art Del Cueto. Art, thank you for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
So, Art, should ICE just start arresting and deporting the protesters since they all seem to be gathered in one place?
So I think the problem is trying to find out who these protesters are. I don't think that a lot of these protesters are here illegally. They're just sympathizers and people that want to get more ratings on their TikTok and everything else. But it's upsetting. Look, and I'll tell you, it's upsetting from my angle of being Hispanic, of being somebody that migrated towards this country legally, of having family that, and my dad told me the entire time as I was growing up, look, we have allegiance towards one country, and that's the country that has opened its doors for us. So it's upsetting to see these groups of individuals out there, honestly, and I think they don't even know what they're protesting, to be honest. They're on their soapbox trying to get more likes on whatever social media platform that they have, because realistically, they're flying the flag of the country that they don't want to go back to. So that alone doesn't make any sort of sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, we saw something similar with the BLM protests. People didn't even know why they were out there. Let me follow up, though, Art, and ask you this. Do you think Antifa is involved in organizing these protests then?
You never know. There's so many people that could be involved in all this mess. And I will remind you that it's funny that they were protesting yesterday, February 2nd, which happens to be the anniversary of the signing of, one of the the plans that made these areas of the United States. I will remind everyone that Mexico sold this land for $15 million, I believe it was, and yesterday was the anniversary. The land was not stolen; it was sold, and that's, I think, what is even more ironic. If I sell you my house, can my grandkids come later on and say, hey, we don't like the price my grandfather sold it for? And that's the reality of what's happening here.
The tariffs imposed on Mexico are now paused for 1 month as the country has agreed to work with the United States to stop the flow of fentanyl and illegal immigration. You've been at the border countless times dealing with the illegal smuggling firsthand. How big, if any, of an impact will this have?
It's going to be huge to have, the military going out there and helping and assisting, but we have to work hand in hand with the agencies that are working alongside the border, because I've seen it. Like you said, look, I grew up on the border my entire life. I've been in law enforcement for over 30 years in the state of Arizona, and I can tell you one of the big problems is going to be having copycats that are wearing the Mexican military uniform that may only be, their interest of bringing loads or helping loads come through the border. So it's going to have to be hand in hand, working together to find out where these military are being deployed. And I do hope that some of these individuals are deployed on our southern border in Arizona. Arizona still has been, the number one area for encounters and gotaways. So much has been done in Texas, which is fantastic because they have a fantastic governor. Unfortunately, you have states like California, Arizona, and New Mexico who also make up a huge part of the border, but we don't have governors out here that are very helpful towards law enforcement or helping secure our nation's borders.
Yeah, Art, it's so interesting, the difference between Republican and Democrat leaderships in these border states. Well, I want to ask you about this. 2 illegal immigrants were just arrested in Chicago on Thursday in connection with the gruesome murder of a 63-year-old man. George Levin was found dead by his sister, bound by duct tape, and his legs tied with an extension cord. The 2 men accused are from Venezuela and Ecuador. So, Art, where is the outcry for the countless American citizens who have been victims at the hands of illegals?
There isn't, because it doesn't get them enough likes. Unfortunately, that's what the problem is. But you know what is amazing to me is when you're hearing them cry about people that are being deported, these are the individuals that they're wanting not deported. So look at how ironic that is all in itself. You have individuals that are committing crimes in this country, and people and the last administration welcomed them in, and there's still people in America that are saying, don't deport them, keep them here. That makes absolutely no sense to me. It's angering, it's frustrating, and I think we just got to continue moving forward, continue, putting out real news so people can understand the problems that are happening.
Well, our newly confirmed Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, took his first trip to the southern border today to visit troops and survey operations. Now, since President Trump took office, what are your sources telling you about the current state of our southern border?
So the numbers have dropped tremendously, which is a huge deal. Agents' morale has gone up. The entries have gone down, but at the same time, we're still getting gotaways, of course, because there's still areas that are very remote in our southern border that are having groups that are still coming in, and that's the unknown factor. That's the big issue that we've always talked about: the gotaways. You don't know how many are actually getting away. It's just a thrown up number. So that's what's still frustrating. There's still some steps that we need to move forward, trying to get it done. But you know what? We have President Trump in office, and everything he's promised, he's moving forward to try to get done. We have a lot of leadership changes that have occurred, and the new leadership that is taking the helm is doing everything they can, and we're very hopeful for the future.
And Art, you mentioned Texas. The Trump administration has officially deputized the Texas National Guard, giving them immigration enforcement and arrest power. This will reportedly add another 4,000 plus personnel protecting our borders. Do you think this will be enough to create the complete 180 that Trump likely seeks?
It's a huge help. Look, we haven't been doing anything when it comes to border security the last 4 years. So anything that's being done is huge. But again, not to discredit what Trump's been doing, what he's been doing is huge. Everything he's been doing has been a tremendous help. But like I said, look, there's other areas of the border. The drug cartels, the smuggling organizations, they know this. They know what areas there are gaps in. And, my hope is that we can continue to move even more further west and start getting assistance in these other states. There's no reason why we shouldn't. Unfortunately, we have leadership in those states that are not getting along with the program. Their hatred towards President Trump, unfortunately, is greater than their love towards this country.
From your personal experience, just to follow up on that, what is going on with the leadership in these states that they refuse to cooperate?
they don't care. That's just what it comes down to. They really don't care. They realize that they can not do anything, and there's constituents there that are continue to vote for them and put them in those positions. Where it is very unfortunate is when it comes to the leadership within law enforcement. We have border sheriffs that are refusing to say that there's a problem. That's where I think is the biggest aggravation to me is you're a law enforcement officer. Your first and foremost, goal should be to arrest and detain criminals, and they're not even doing that. You're turning a blind eye.
Do you think they're getting paid off then? Why would law enforcement especially turn a blind eye?
Look, I hate to throw out that dart and accuse somebody of that, but it comes down to why aren't they doing anything? If you're living in a border city or you're a sheriff in a border community and you know that drugs are coming in through your area, you know that you're one of the top areas for gotaways, what other reason would you have other than, you're involved somehow to come? And I hate to throw out that allegation, and I'm not. I'm just saying, Look, if you're in that area and you know these groups are coming through, you know it's a high area for drug smuggling, what reason would you have to ignore it? What reason would you have to not want to do anything about it?
Yeah, and Art, we all saw that unfortunately cringeworthy viral clip of Selena Gomez crying in her $1 million mansion about the deportations. And we've seen multiple posts on social media of people saying that Republicans are villains for wanting these deportations. And I just want to know, what would you say to them? Because you've referenced twice already in this interview about people wanting likes and wanting to kind of virtue signal. So what do you have to say to those people when we know that Donald Trump was elected to do exactly what he's doing?
Look, illegal's not a race, first and foremost. They need to understand that. And all I have to say is there's a lot of individuals that have a celebrity status that were very vocal saying that they would move out of the country if President Trump won. Well, he won. He won some time ago. He took office some time ago. I'm still waiting for you all to pack your bags and get out.
About 30 seconds left here, Art. Same, by the way, I'm waiting for that as well. Why do you think people are turning towards social media and trying to get this viral clips out of this major issue?
Because if they can get their narrative out, they're able to, you get a lot of the youth, involved in it and think, oh, hey, this is true. It's just like I've said, look, many times you hear them say the border didn't cross us or whatever, new little bumper sticker quote that they have. They need to study civics, open a history book, and realize what really has happened in this world.
Art Del Cueto, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you.
Of course. Pack your bags and get out. I like what he said. All right, coming up later in the show, Veterans for Child Rescue founder talks about taking on the $50 million a year child trafficking industry. We'll be right back with more.
Learning is hard work. Hard work requires character. Learning begins in faith. It must move upward toward the highest thing, unseen at the beginning, God. And freedom is essential to learning. Its principles must be studied and defended. Learning, character, faith, and freedom. These are the inseparable purposes of Hillsdale College.
Hello, this is Mike Huckabee. President Trump said he wants to take back the White House and teach our kids to love our country. That's why my team created the Kids Guide to President Trump. It'll teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his vision for America. And right now, I want to give it to you for free as part of this free gift bundle.
Order your free Kids Guide to President Trump, get a free bonus guide, and a free membership to AMAC featuring dozens of money-saving benefits at kidsneedtrump.com. That's kidsneedtrump.com.
If anyone has told you that gaining weight, feeling tired, and struggling with nagging digestive and joint issues is just a part of getting older, they are wrong. My name is Dr. Stephen Gundry, and after years of struggling with these same issues, I found a new way to support my health at home by making one simple change to my diet. It's called BioComplete 3. BioComplete 3 works by restoring your gut health from the inside out. This is a major part of how I lost 70 pounds and have kept the weight off for 25 years. It's not just me. This is working for everybody. Joe helped his gut health, and you can see the changes, not just how he looks on the outside, but how much better he felt on the inside.
I was 270. I'm now 140. It just feels amazing. Thank you, Dr. Gundry.
I helped all these people achieve incredible changes to their weight, their digestion, even their skin. And for a limited time, you can try BioComplete 3 risk-free for 90 days. Go to guthealthsecret.com.
Years ago, when I gave birth to my third daughter, during childbirth, I lost so much blood that my pituitary gland had a stroke. So I had declining hormones and all kinds of symptoms that could mimic so many different kinds of diseases, and went for 13 years in and out of, hospitals and testing and There were no answers. I'm like, Lord, what is going on? I need an answer. Well, he led me to you. So my answer. Also, I had my thyroid removed from cancer in 2009. My pituitary gland is very compromised. I don't have a thyroid. And my endocrinologist told me that he thinks that my hypothalamus was also compromised because I didn't feel hunger ever. I think this is a miracle that I'm having results, and I feel hungry again.
Well, welcome back to Special Report. Did you know that 20 million Americans are living with thyroid issues, and 1 in every 8 women is affected by some form of thyroid disease? Here to help us understand what to look for is the founder of Energized Health and a good friend of ours, John Jubilee. Welcome back, John.
Hey, well, thank you, Beau. And hey, Emily, great to see you guys today.
Yeah, always great to see you, John. Talk to us about the purpose of the thyroid and what kinds of symptoms can indicate that it's not working properly.
Well, the easiest one, Emily, and unfortunately, this seems to affect women more than men, but it affects men also, is that when the thyroid begins to malfunction, you just start gaining weight for no reason. Your hair can thin, but the worst part is, again, you could be eating a perfect diet, exercising every day, and all of a sudden you're 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, and you just can't figure out, how is this happening to me? I'm not eating any different. I'm not exercising any different. I'm gaining weight. But it's because the thyroid actually tells your body what to do with the scientific term. They call it energy. The real term is food. Food is energy to the body. So the thyroid tells the body, hey, you need to metabolize that food and use it for energy. But when the thyroid malfunctions, it just says, you know what? I'm too dehydrated. I'm too worn out. We're just going to store that food as fat instead of metabolizing it as energy.
So, John, what exactly causes the thyroid to be dysregulated, producing too little or too many hormones in the body?
Well, I'm so glad you asked that question, because it's the same thing, Beau, that is the root cause of, more than 90% of illness and disease is cellular dehydration. So just imagine if you're supposed to have this healthy, full thyroid, like a big, beautiful grape, but all of a sudden it shrivels up, like a dried out raisin. Well, of course it can't function how it should. So the beautiful thing is that we see in our clients, and by the way, notice this client didn't even have a thyroid. They had it removed. But there's a triangulation between the thyroid, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. And even if one of yours has been removed, if you've lost your pituitary, if you've lost your thyroid, when you get the cellular hydration back in there, it optimizes your thyroid, optimizes your pituitary, optimizes your hypothalamus. And all 3 of those play a part in how your body regulates your food and how you metabolize fat. So no matter what your challenge has been in the past, you can absolutely get your thyroid back to full function, get your pituitary back to full function, and you can lose that 10, 20 pounds that you gained that you don't even know how it came on.
Well, sometimes people who want to address their thyroid issues kind of unnecessarily complicate it with medications that are commonly prescribed to try to regulate thyroid conditions. So many pharmaceuticals carry the risk of serious side effects. Are the side effects for thyroid patients worse than the condition itself?
Well, unfortunately, Emily, it is because especially, women want to be beautiful, for their husbands or their loved one. And so they can lose their hair. They lose their bone density, especially as women begin to age. If you lose your bone density, when you hear of these little old ladies that fall and break their hip, it's not because they fell and broke their hip. It's their hip broke and they fell because they lost their bone density, because a lot of them 10, 20 years on these thyroid medications. So, yeah, I absolutely believe for anybody, take the holistic approach. Try to do it without medication first, because you really can reverse it. We have thousands of clients that got back their full thyroid function. Their doctor told them, you don't need this medication anymore. You reversed your thyroid. There's a doctor in Tennessee. He literally, that's all he does is women with thyroid. And he said, I don't know what this guy does, but he can reverse the thyroid. And he sends us so many clients, and most of them are women 40 and over that have been on thyroid medication for more than 10 years.
Yeah, sounds like they didn't need the medication. All they needed was energized health. John Jubilee, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, guys.
See you soon.
All right.
And we'll be right back with more Special Report. Stay with us.
Here at Allegiance, we feel like American flags should be made in America.
When we started Allegiance, we were shocked to learn how many American flags were actually being made overseas.
Every flag we make is proudly crafted in the USA with superior materials.
Join us in our mission to keep the American flag truly American.
Visit showallegiance.com to order your high-quality American flag today. That's showallegiance.com.
In a crisis, your number one need is food. But here's the good news. 4 Patriots is offering a special buy one, get 2 free deal on its best-selling 72-hour survival food kits. Hurry, go to 4patriots.com now.
It's an absolute problem. It happens all of the time. If you own property and have got equity, you can be a victim.
How can a scammer actually steal my home?
It's so easy for them to get the original document. They can download it and forge it. They begin to take out loans, and you're left holding the bag.
What can I do to protect my title?
Go to HomeTitleLock.com. We monitor your title and alert you if anything disturbs your title. Protect your home. You'll sleep better that night.
What if you could tackle your dog's itching, soft stools, and low energy? Millions of pet parents are raving about Dr. Marty Nature's Blend.
Such a huge difference in her health. More energy, more playful, no more pooping issues.
I'm Dr. Marty. I've been a veterinarian for more than 50 years. The dangerous ingredients added to many pet foods could be impacting your dog's lifespan. That's why I formulated Nature's Blend.
Now you can feed your dog wholesome cuts of real meat, vegetables, and fruit with no artificial preservatives or fillers. Try Dr. Marty risk-free. Go to drmartypets.com/TV.
The bathroom of your dreams is only a phone call away with BCI Bath and Shower. We can make your ordinary bath and shower extraordinary. This is not a cookie cutter design. This is a complete custom build that will fit your every need, and discounts for seniors and military.
Increased tariffs on our trade partners, tax cuts and regulation changes. Learn why gold is a viable diversification tactic now more than ever. Birch Gold, the only gold company you should trust, is releasing their ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era with a foreword by Donald Trump Jr. To get your free copy, along with Birch Gold's free information kit on gold, text America to the number 989898.
Here's the facts. The national debt continues to increase. Interest payments on the national debt continue to increase. And gold is still your hedge against a weakened dollar. And Birch Gold is still the company you should trust to help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Text America to 989898 for your free copy of the ultimate guide for gold in the Trump era. There's no obligation, only information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, countless 5-star reviews, and thousands of happy customers, you too can trust Birch Gold. Text America to the number right there on the bottom of your screen, 989898 today. Well, welcome back to Special Report. Gen Z is making its mark on President Trump's administration. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt is the youngest to ever serve in the role, and other key positions in the West Wing are led by Gen Z staffers as well. And according to the latest Morning Consult poll, Gen Z has shifted from being 41% liberal in 2021 to now only 27% liberal as of January of this year. Whew,
that's a pretty significant shift.
Does that mean there's hope? Wow, that just made my day.
Well, we will find out, because we want to welcome in the RNC's Youth Advisory Chair, Brylan Hollyhan, to the show for discussion on how the youth of this country is ditching the woke mindset. Brylan, thanks for being with us today.
Happy Monday. Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, well, that stat that Michelle just read is pretty astounding. So what do you attribute to a shift in political values among Gen Zers?
Yeah, it's very simple. The reason that Donald J. Trump is sitting in the Oval Office as the 47th president is because he works to win my fellow first-time voters over. He is the first Republican presidential candidate in the 21st century to win Gen Z for one simple reason. He was authentic. He was relatable. He spoke directly to Gen Z on college campuses. He said there is a problem with the country, and right now there's no future for you to grow up in, much less raise a family in, so we're going to make America great again. And Gen Z believed him. They listened. And thank goodness we did, because he's been a president of promises made, promises kept. And the only concern I have is that he's going to run out of Sharpies with everything that he's signing to make the country great again. It's been incredible to see how hard he's worked in 2 weeks, and I'm excited for the rest of the 4-year term.
Yeah, it's been a busy 2 weeks, Brylan. Check out this article from New York Magazine titled, quote, "The Cruel Kids Table." It's been blowing up on social media, seemingly backfiring on its original purpose to snub young conservatives. I'll tell you what, this was during inauguration, and I was invited to this party. I wasn't able to go to it. I'm not sure if you went, but they're making conservatives look pretty cool here. What's your reaction to this article and how it described the youth who are attending these inauguration events in D.C.?
I actually got a pretty good laugh out of it when I saw it the morning that it debuted. It's so trendy. And the headline, like you said, was "Cruel Kids Table," kind of, say we're bullies in the lunchroom here. I've got to say we're typically the cool kids. It's pretty great to see what's happening. And this is the trend that really made Gen Z move conservative. For decades, we have been told that our masculinity is toxic. For decades, we've been told that our conservative Christian ideology makes us this nationalist figure. And we finally decided, we're going to reject that. There was a mandate that was delivered in November, a mandate for President Trump to carry out his Make America Great Again agenda. But there was also a rejection of liberal ideology. And this is the perfect example of that. That is why Gen Z's moving conservative. And they keep doing stuff like this. We're going to win over more young people. Keep it up. This is great.
Well, speaking of youth, Brylan, Caroline Leavitt held some of her first press conferences at the White House last week. And I want to know how you think she's performing in her new position so far.
She's absolutely incredible. I've sent her a few texts. We've talked throughout the past few weeks, her very short tenure so far as the press secretary. I got to say, I'm incredibly proud of her. She's a close friend. We worked pretty well together the first time that she was in there as a press assistant, and I have been so impressed. This is a great example of young people coming in and showing out. President Trump has the youngest cabinet since George H.W. Bush. She's a perfect example of why young people can make a statement. She's bringing in young ideas. I pitched her the idea of having some podcasters in the brief room, and thankfully she listened. And stuff like that is how Trump won. He went on podcasts. He went on TikTok. He engaged with Gen Z, like I mentioned at the top of the segment, in authentic, relatable ways. That's how President Trump's going to continue to win over youth voters, the Republican Party, not only in the midterms, but we're already looking at 2028, and Caroline Leavitt is the key to success for that.
Yeah, she really is doing phenomenal. Brylan, I want to get your opinion on this real quick before we let you go. DNC tapping into David Hogg now. He thinks that he'll be able to garner some of the youth vote. What's your reaction to that?
Very big mistake. I am very excited to see David Hogg lead the DNC, because that means that we want, not only will we be winning the midterms in 2026, but J.D. Vance will be the president come 2028. This is the best thing the DNC has done since they picked cackling Kamala Harris to be their nominee, and I wish David Hogg all the best.
We do too. Well, thank you, Brylan, so much for your thoughts today, and we really appreciate it, my friend.
You're giving us hope for the younger generations.
Yes,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it. Thank you.
Thanks, Brylan. Well, human trafficking is still a big focus of this administration, since the problem was placed into hyperdrive with 4 years of a lax border policy that Joe Biden allowed cartels to monopolize the drug and human trafficking problem, particularly affecting child trafficking, a $50 billion per year industry.
Craig, the Sawman Sawyer, was a Navy SEAL who served in the elite group and used his tactical training and passion to begin an operation to reduce child trafficking called Vets for Child Rescue. Let's bring him in right now. Welcome back to Special Report, Craig.
Hey, thank you for having me back on. It's a pleasure and a privilege.
And it's also a tough subject, Craig, because we see a lot of what's going on, and it's great to see you. But I first want to ask you about your work with Veterans for Child Rescue. I believe it's estimated that around 300,000 or so children went missing in the Biden-Harris years. And I'd love to know what your group may be doing to help locate these children and prevent them from being trafficked, or whether that's proving difficult to do.
Yeah, well, anytime they'll admit a number, you know that it's going to be far greater than that have actually been lost or sold. So we have been able to have a significant impact if you consider the fact that every child predator is estimated to rape or harm or traumatize an average of 70 children each in their lifetime. We've got 29 predator arrests with a 100% conviction rate, plus 87 more warrants. So that adds up to a lot of children who will not be harmed because their predators are put away and prevented. So we're grateful to do that. We're grateful to alert the populace with our documentary Contraland, which everybody can go online and watch. It's empowering. It educates everybody on what's really happening with that. And I tell you what, man, we do celebrate this incoming change. And so many people who want to get rid of the fraud, waste, abuse, get back to truth, the rule of law. It feels so refreshing. It almost feels too good to be true, but I'm celebrating it and I'm very thankful. And I think many, many prayers are being answered right now. And we hope that it continues and we're able to share information and intel with the incoming administration and steer them onto some of the worst child trafficking networks and organized crime networks operating inside the United States. And it's a privilege and an honor to be able to do that. And boy, it is a fight, man. This swamp does not want to be drained. It doesn't even want to be seen. And so there's a lot of gnashing of teeth right now. If you'll see even today's responses from DC, the people that have been guilty of a lot of betrayal of the American people and abuse of funds, money laundering, all of it. They know they're guilty of an arm-long list of crimes for which they should be prosecuted, but have been getting away with it. So now is a time of turmoil, but it's a healthy process of identifying the corrupt and setting about bringing them to account so that we can restore the truth and the rule of law and actual genuine justice in the United States.
You talk about these trafficking rings inside of the United States. Can we pinpoint that and figure out exactly who these people are, who they're working for, where they're located? Give us a little bit of context there.
Yeah, well, what you have is, until now, the Mexican drug cartels really heading up a lot of it. So they were one of the biggest overseeing organizations with MS-13, the Crips and Bloods beneath them, selling children on a lower scale. But you also have the federal government trafficking children, sadly, as Tarly Rodas has testified before Congress. So Health and Human Services has investigation coming, whatever they're doing with the children. We understand that they're bringing unaccompanied minors and giving them to unvetted sponsors. So that's trafficking. There's a lot of harm happening there. So
do you think it's negligence?
Halted in short order.
Or do you think that they're gaining something from this? And if so, what are they gaining?
There's a lot of money being made. Yes, ma'am. They're big contracts. So everybody's getting fat off of the contracts. It's heartbreaking to witness what mankind will stoop to for $1, but there's a lot of greed. And when Tarly Rodas and her colleagues went to their supervisors in Health and Human Services, telling them, hey, we're delivering children to predators. It's not working the way that it's supposed to. The sponsors that are supposed to be receiving the children aren't being vetted, and they're turning out to be cartels and traffickers and organ harvesters. Like, we have to make sure these children are safe. Their supervision has been saying, don't worry about it. Just hurry up because there's more to do. Hurry. And so there's a lot of greed, and they were in a rush to traffic as many of this children as possible. There are a lot of other contracts housing the children, busing the children, flying the children deep into the interior to deliver them to all manner of people. And it's heartbreaking and it's dysfunctional. And I do celebrate so deeply that it's being addressed now and halted, and that we're able to have some part in that. And so this is a good time. And it's a fight, though. It's going to be ugly, as in any human conflict.
Yeah, so Craig, let me ask you this. We don't have much time left with you, only about 30 seconds. I know it's tough to get that in, but we talked about the supply part of this, which is Mexico, the cartels, South America, Latin America. But what about the demand side? If America is the number one consumer of trafficking, what can be done about that?
Yeah, well, it's a cultural change, and that's a slow burn. We have to continually promote higher, more healthy, and productive values, and that's something a lot of people don't want to embrace. They want to waller and celebrate their own dysfunction. They want to celebrate their perversion, and that's what's leading to all this harm. So ultimately, we have to have a moral kind of a resurrection out of this darkness that we've allowed our culture to fall into.
There really is spiritual warfare going on. Craig, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for everything that you're doing as well.
Thank you.
Of course. And stick with us. War Room up next. Don't go anywhere.
Why is Navage trusted by millions?
Before Navage, I was not living my best life because I could not breathe. Constant nasal congestion, constant blowing of the nose. The huge difference is the fact that Navage pulls it out. It's very gentle in the sense